Good morning, everybody. My apologies. I just got through having a tour with Mayor Maria over at the wind site, so I wanted to make sure we had enough protection. So at this point, first off, let me just say I want to thank all of you for attending the second annual Columbus Day Breakfast. What a great turnout. We're so appreciative. We had such a hard-working committee to put this together, and obviously all of their hard work paid off. I've got a bunch of introductions to make, but before I do, I would like to call on the Revere High School JROTC under the direction of Major Deborah Bowker and Sergeant Major Robert Callender to post the colors. I would like to now call on Sarah Victoria Caffarelli to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Come on over here. Come on up here, Sarah. Come here. Can you guys break line to let everyone see Sarah? Stand up on the chair, baby, okay? You got it?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
O God, our Father, we thank you for the land we live in, not because it is perfect, but because it is ours. Ours to make of it what we will. Here we have our homes. Here we share life with those we love. As we celebrate this Columbus Day, we thank the whole of creation and all its frailty and mystery, with all our races and peoples, join hands around your table, in doubt, in love, and in hope, and offer you thanks this day. As Christopher Columbus took the risk, thinking that if he sailed far enough to the west, he would find himself in the east, so we may, too, take the necessary risks in our lives to do what is right and trust in your mercy. We thank you, God, for our city and for all our people, and we ask you to bless this food which we are about to receive from thy county through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Father. Thank you very much, Father. At this point, you can all be seated, please. At this point, I would like to call forward the Revere Junior Patriots D Squad cheerleaders as they make their way up the aisle here. Come on, girls.
Patriots, yell it!
What a great job. How about a nice round of applause for these great cheerleaders. Good job, girls.
My Uncle Frank Roberto. He wants me to personal friend with Dad. Yeah. You remember Frank Roberto?
Okay, we're going to continue on with the program. I'd like to first introduce our elected officials. First of all, the Revere City Council, John Correggio. Revere City Council, Brian Arrigo. Revere City Council, Bob Hass. Revere City Council, Richard Penta. Revere City Council, Arthur Guanasso. Revere City Council, Charlie Patch. Revere City Council, John Powers. Revere City Council President, Ira Novoselsky. Revere City Council, Tony Zambuto. Revere City Council, Jessica Janino. Revere City Council, Steve Reardon. From our school committee, Carol Ty. Michael Ferranti. Stacy Rizzo. Donna Wood Pruitt. Dan McGuire. Fred Sinella. Candidates from Ward 5, Al Terminello. Ward 1, Greg Lacedra. Councilor at Large, Steve Mirabito. Candidate for Councilor at Large, George Rotundo. Candidate for Councilor at Large, Walter Colville. We also have candidate for Attorney General, Representative Hank Norton. Candidate for Treasurer, Senator Barry Feingold. Candidate for Congress, Paul John Mazzano. From the Winthrop City Council, Phil Boncory. And of course, David Surface, CEO of St. Jean's Credit Union on the Board of Selectmen in Georgetown. Thank you all for being here. Last but not least, my good friend from our neighbor over there in Chelsea, City Manager Jay Ash. Jay, thanks for being here. So, Father George, elected officials, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again, and thank you for attending the second annual Columbus Day Breakfast. I would like to take a moment to thank the Revere Chamber of Commerce and the Columbus Day Planning Committee for their tireless efforts in bringing back the parade scheduled for tomorrow with a start time at 1 p.m. Nick Boer and Paul Travellini, co-chairs of the committee, have showed tremendous leadership in spearheading this effort, and I want to thank both of you for your hard work. Thanks so much. I would also like to thank Priscilla and Ray Nickerson for lending us their beautiful hall here this morning, Casa Lucia. And also give a great shout out to our good friend and caterer, Lenny DeMano. Lenny, thanks so much. I also want to thank all of our local and state elected officials for attending this breakfast this morning and supporting our efforts to bring back this very, very special parade that we in Revere have enjoyed for decades. The purpose of this breakfast today is to raise money to help defray costs associated with the Columbus Day Parade, and also to have a little fun at the expense of some of our elected officials. I'm happy to report that we've raised nearly $30,000 this year for this event. Dozens of sponsors have stepped up to support the parade financially, and so on a personal level, I say to all of you, thank you. Your generous contributions to this community event will surely make this event special for thousands of Revere families. I would like to introduce our first guest speaker of the day, a man that needs no introduction, so I won't give him one, Speaker Bob DeLeo. No, Bob, I'm only kidding. Sit down. In fact, by the way, I put a tie on this morning just for you, Bob. So, and as I was preparing, okay, that's a start from back to last year. as I was getting ready to come here, I opened up my mail. I don't know how many of you got this. It's a comedy night for Bob DeLeo. Anyone get this? Anyone get this? What a great time it is, by the way. It's an annual event, and I know that I'll be there. I hope all of you show up as well. And Bob, since becoming speaker, you've done a great job. I know you've done very, very well with these events. And in fact, if Kerry Abrams is here, Kerry, did he donate enough this year to the parade? I just want to make sure of that, okay, good. Well, that being said, I know that cost me in local aid big time, so I'm just going to put that aside for now. But all kidding aside, Bob DeLeo is not just a great speaker. Bob DeLeo is not just a great representative. Bob DeLeo is a true friend. And he's somebody that cares about his job. And he cares about us. He cares about his constituents. And I couldn't be more proud to be represented in Revere by somebody like Bob DeLeo. And so with that, I hope you all join me in a great round of applause for one of the best speakers the state of Massachusetts has ever had, Speaker Bob DeLeo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I got a little nervous at the beginning, but you redeemed yourself at the end. But it is great. What a beautiful day to have this Columbus Day breakfast. And I have to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for bringing back the celebration tomorrow with the parade. That's a great, great job that you did in putting it together. And I know, give him a round of applause. And I know, Mr. Mayor, like me, you can't wait for that parade walk tomorrow. Our only hope was that it was just a little bit longer, but it's not. We'll take it the way it is. And speaking of walks, I don't know if you noticed, breast cancer walk last week, we had 5 busloads of folks from Winthrop and Revere who went out to raise money for breast cancer. But what was interesting, we also had the Autism Speaks Walk last week as well. So I had to leave the breast cancer walk to go to the Autism Speaks Walk, to make sure that I gave a donation. But I'm going to tell you folks something that I hope you don't tell anyone else. I didn't do either walk, actually. As a matter of fact, after I left you at the Autism Speaks walks, I went to New Deal, got an Italian sub. The truth, okay? Ate the sub, then took a nap. Because I got exhausted from all the walking I was supposed to do. And speaking of walking, Revere just received an award this week for the wonderful walking trails that we have here in the great city. Congratulations, Mr. Mayor, once again. And like Christopher Columbus, discovering America, Mr. Mayor, I think you ought to discover some of those walking trails. Hey, come on. I don't care anymore, all right? I'm the speaker, all right? But today is a day that we come to celebrate Columbus Day. You're going to move me? Move me next to the buffet table over there. Today's actually a day, though, I think we celebrate the rebirth and revitalization of this great city. I'll tell you, we've got a wonderful team here, and I mean that sincerely. Whether at the federal level, the state level with my colleagues, or at the local level, led by the great mayor that we do have, as well as all of the counselors in school committee. Revere has become, as we all know, one of the most desirable places to live, and we are so proud of that. As a matter of fact, for those of you who have moved from the city, we're not letting you back in. Right, Mr. Mayor? That's the mayor's new immigration policy. That is just a joke, please. But when you think of what's going on in this city, you look at our school system with new schools. Thank you, Mr. Treasurer, for that. And you also think about what's the education system in our schools with the continuing rise in our MCAS scores as well. The improvements with the transportation and the beach improvements and whatnot. New housing and new hotels. Again, Revere is really a place on the move, a city on the move. And I have to say, in closing, that Revere, I think, is becoming of one of the most desirable places for people to raise families and for businesses to prosper. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I sincerely thank you. I hope I'm in your good graces once again. To all of you, a happy Columbus Day. May God bless Revere, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, thank you so much. And I can attest to that Italian sub last week, because I was in line behind the Speaker. I got a Tony Soprano, if anyone knows that sandwich they have down there. Very, very good, by the way. So, our next speaker is also part of our terrific state delegation. I know I say it, maybe some of you are bored of hearing me, but I'm not bored to say it. One of the best state delegations that any mayor in the Commonwealth could possibly have. So I'm very, very fortunate to bring up the Christopher Columbus of the legislature, State Senator Anthony Petroselli.
If that was a compliment, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here, and I first want to say thank you to the mayor for bringing back the Columbus Day Parade. You know, as a young man with two small children, I usually love to take my kids apple picking on the Monday of Columbus Day weekend. We have nothing better to do, so Mayor, thank you so much. I had to tell them no this morning. But, you know, I'm going to be very nice. I was just talking to Kathy about it. In all seriousness, I'm very fortunate. This past November, I did extremely well in the city of Revere, garnered about 83% of the vote. So I'm very grateful for the people of the city of Revere. And so, thank you. And yes, Mr. Speaker, I did have someone running against me. But I also learned over time that when you're at the beginning of the batting order on those an event like today, there's about 12 other people coming up after us. So I'm going to be very nice, because there's going to be plenty of opportunity for those that follow me to take a swing at me if I'm not nice. So, and I'm also going to stick to my 2 minutes, as Mayor Rizzo asked us to do, Kathy. But in all seriousness, first of all, I have some colleagues here I do want to recognize. I know Senator Feingold, who's here. I don't know if you had a chance to recognize Senator Feingold, as well as 3 of my colleagues that are running for the 5th Congressional District, Senator Clark, Senator Spilka, and Senator Brownsberger. They're wonderful, wonderful people. As you can see, I'm in a pickle, so just pick one of them. There's other candidates out there. I'm dear friends with Peter Katusian, dear friends with Cal Shortino, but they're great senators. So thank you for being here. In all seriousness, Danny, thank you for bringing the parade back. You know, when I saw the children come up here and from the Revere Pop Warner, it brings back fond memories. As an Italian American growing up in East Boston, this was always a fun time. It brings back fond memories of my youth. It is a wonderful opportunity to celebrate our culture and our heritage. And it has always been a part of the fabric of our communities in East Boston, in Revere, the North End, where I'll be marching today in the Columbus Day Parade. And so, Mayor Rizzo, in all sincerity, thank you very much for doing this. I think it's you doing a wonderful job. Dan Rizzo, as your mayor, has been doing some unbelievable things. His economic development summit that he held a number of months ago, incredibly successful. After the marathon bombings, Mayor Rizzo held a prayer service in the steps of City Hall to bring the whole city together. He is bringing the city of Revere forward together like never before. Mayor Rizzo, thank you. And in keeping with my pledge of being quick, I will just say Happy Columbus Day. Enjoy the breakfast and enjoy the parade. I hope to see you on the route tomorrow. Thank you.
Senator, thank you very, very much. I see my friend Teddy Lamoli out here, the face of Suffolk Downs here in the city of Revere. A bunch of you know Teddy. Are we going to get a casino in Revere or what? Is everybody with us? All right. I didn't see you clap out, though. What's the story over there? You for this? But as you know, this is where, we're talking, it seems like we've been talking about it for a long time now. One of the most important issues on everybody's mind in the city of Revere for the longest time, probably the last 2 or 3 years now, and of course I'm talking about John Correggio's re-election campaign. John, I'm only kidding, wherever you are. Now, this casino is transformational here in the city. I've said it for a number of years, and fortunately, through the hard work of these people that you see sitting here to my right, we have the opportunity now. Now it's up to us to carry that ball forward. So I hope on November 5th, you all take that opportunity to get out and vote, support their hard work, support our efforts to bring $1 billion investment and millions of dollars of revenue to our community. So with that, I'm actually a little nervous about our next speaker because she advised me she has props, and I just don't know what that means. And to expand upon that, she wants me to help, which is terrifying right now because I've known her for years and years, and she was in high school, and so I know what she's capable of. But she happens to be in leadership under our great speaker here, and she really, I can't tell you, I'm not sure what I would do without her. I lean on her and her staff. I see Rosalie sitting here, and as Rosalie knows, Rosalie, yeah, you're the greatest, Rosalie. Stand up, Rosalie Vincent. Probably everybody in this room has Rosalie on speed dial. So, but she always, she's always there. She returns the call, and somehow she finds ways to still volunteer in the city in addition to her job. So, Rosalie, thanks for all you do too. So, with that, I'd like to, without any further ado, bring up our great leader, State Representative Kathy Ann Reinstein. Kathy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hi, everybody. How is everyone doing today? Wait, am I supposed to hold both of these? This isn't going to work for me. All right. Oh, God. Here, hold that for me. All right. Can everyone hear me on this one?
The other one can't.
How about this one? Oh, God.
We lost it, sorry.
Hello? Hi. All right. So this is a great turnout. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just remember, this is all in good fun while we celebrate the return of the Revere Columbus Day Parade. Is everybody ready? Okay. I want to congratulate the committee and the chamber for all their hard work. This is an incredible turnout today. Given the seriousness of some issues we deal with, it can be challenging to be funny when we discuss government. John Correggio could tell you that sometimes the problem with political jokes is that they get elected. Oh, thank you, Dan. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I have a note here. It's just a quick announcement. There is a truck double parked outside with a no casino sign on it. I'm being told that the truck is registered in Everett. Could the owners of the truck filled with self-interest please move your vehicle? You are blocking Revere from moving forward. Thank you. All right? I'm good? All right. So far, I'm good. Just make sure I stay on your leadership team by the time I'm done. A lot of great public officials from all over are joining us today. Karen Spilkus from Ashland, Suffolk County District Attorney was supposed to be here, so never mind. Joe Avalone and Julia Cam from, I'm not really sure where you guys are from, I'm sorry. We have many candidates running for Congress this fall, and there's been some great commercials, incredible congressional commercials. Scortino with his dad, Catherine Clark has one with her mom, Peter Katusian has one with his kids, and I was a kid in commercials too, so I know the pain that they were going through in that commercial. Phil Brownsberger does not have a commercial, but he's always appearing in the Lens Crafters commercials. I don't know if you've seen him in those. We do have a couple of sheriffs here today. Middlesex Sheriff Katusian is here, who's a former state representative with me. Last I read, the polls showed that Sheriff Katusian is edging a bit closer to catch Senator Clark's lead, or as the newspaper headline read today, Giant Chases Woman. Come on! That's funny! They're both my good friends. Come on, he's tall, giant. Oh, wow, okay. Our own Suffolk, see? Really? You're going there? Our own Suffolk County Sheriff, Steve Tompkins, is here. Now, I don't know if many of you know this. He's a great sheriff, but before he was the sheriff of Suffolk County, he was the head of the fashion police. Look at this man, dressed to the nines. Stand up for us for a minute. Seriously, the man, best dressed person ever. Thank you. Look at this. Serious. Work it. You're good. You're good. You're looking good. Our incredible treasurer, Steve Grossman, is here. He's also a candidate for governor. He also serves as chairman of the Massachusetts Lottery. I'm not sure if a lot of people are aware of that. We have one of the most successful lotteries in the country. So I've been thinking maybe the school department could consult the treasurer's office on how to run a successful lottery. Oh. Wow. Okay. Is everybody awake now? Good morning. Okay. In life and in politics, there's always at least two sides to every issue. No matter what the issue may be, people are sometimes really engaged in it, and sometimes, you know, they're really enraged, and it's really hard to find a balance. There's a really good example of this. Recently, the legislature just, we legalized medical marijuana. It was actually a referendum question. So on one hand, Kelly's is psyched about this because their late night, food sales is going to triple. But I know Mickey Casoli is here. He's called me 25 times. Mickey, say no to drugs. Casoli is here. He's not happy about it. I am still afraid to listen to those voicemails, but I love Mickey, and I love the work that he and the others are doing to help family with substance abuse. So let's give applause for Mickey if he's still here. He might have gone to work out. He might not be here. So, you know, it's election time. There's so many signs throughout the city, on lawns and windows, supporting some of the different candidates in attendance. So we have several candidates who aren't lucky enough to be from Revere. Speaking of which, again, you may have seen these no casino signs around. I just thought that you should all know that the No Casino group operates out of a glass house in Everett, from which they throw stones all day. Another thing about the casino is, I'm not sure if has anyone seen the renderings of like this Caesars Casino? It's absolutely beautiful. And seriously, this is an incredible opportunity for the city. I don't know if you know, but when the mayor and John Fester were working out the host community agreement, they were working with the city council, and they asked the council, each individually, to have their own renderings of what they thought a perfect casino would be like. So all of them, all of the counselors, they were very thoughtful and creative, but there was one that really stood out above the rest. Counselor Zambuto, yours was so incredible that we have to share it with everyone today, and I was hoping the mayor could help me with this. Wait, where is it? I'm getting a lot of ohs today. Come on. Thank you, Jane. Jane Rizzo says it's funny. Thank you, Jane. So now with the referendum, approaching on November 5th, which I all hope you join me in voting yes for, elected officials on all levels, we've been working so hard to reach out to everyone in the community. The mayor's been hosting 2 public meetings over the next couple of weeks. City and state officials and representatives of Suffolk Downs just did these series of host community agreement roundtables, which are airing on Revere TV. You should check them out. Also, there's one thing that is not public information yet, but there is a major motion picture being filmed about the entire expanded gaming process. So I wanted to share with all of you the movie's poster.
I'm already laughing.
Oh my God.
I'm glad I yielded some of my time to that.
Great, we're gonna turn it over. It's gonna be worth it, I hope. So, as you can see, the title is Casino. It's a dramatic feature film set in Revere, and we are hoping that the production will be all set and complete by 2014. And I'm looking at the cast, and I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see this happen in Revere. So I want to just thank everyone for putting up with my shenanigans this morning. I want to wish everybody running for office on October 15th and November 5th, good luck. And I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for including me today. This might be my last appearance, I might have a feeling. And I want to thank the committee, the Revere Chamber, Revere TV for a great breakfast. So happy Columbus Day, and vote yes on November 5th. Am I still in? Am I still in?
That has to be one of the funniest posters I've ever seen in my life. Kathy, great job.
Dan Fielding.
Dan, you outdid yourself this time, Dan, really. That's fantastic. How about a nice round of applause for State Representative Reinstein? Although, Kathy, I have to say, that lottery joke, all I have to do is look 2 tables over and I see 6 faces looking back at me right now. I chair that school committee, so I'm not sure if you know that. So, yeah, okay, there you go. All right, well, at least I know I still have one ally on the school committee, so that's good. Kathy, thank you for that. So, moving on, our next speaker, in my opinion, needs no introduction. He has been our state treasurer now, and I have to say, has been a terrific friend and supporter of the city of Revere. In fact, when I saw him make his announcement that he was going to run for governor, I saw in his announcement that he talked about the gateway cities, and as those of you here may know, Revere is considered a gateway city, and how his mission as governor, in addition to making the state of Massachusetts the best state that we know that it is around the country, he wants to take the gateway cities and elevate them in a way that brings much success to those communities. And he's doing that right now in his relatively short time as treasurer. And I want to say, before I bring him up, for those of you who were here last year at the breakfast, he used his hands more than any other Italian that was talking last year. So he's our honorary Italian this year, and that's our state treasurer, Steve Grossman. Steve?
Thank you, Dan. Well, the reason I'm grateful to be an honorary Italian because It all started for our family 113 years ago. My grandfather came from Russia. He was an immigrant like most of us, or our grandparents were, settled in East Boston, the corner of Marion and Chelsea, right across from the Otis School for those who originally came from East Boston, and never got past the 6th grade. His mother said, "Max, you got to go to work." So he shined shoes on the East Boston ferry boat, sold newspapers, got a job as a delivery boy, but eventually he had a dream for his life and he started a business. And that business is 103 years old, was Mass Envelope Company, Grossman Marketing. So if I use my hands a lot, it's because 113 years ago we started in East Boston. My grandfather used to tell me that it was the Italian Americans who went to work in the banks in the North End who put him in business, because they eventually got jobs in stock rooms and as purchasing agents. And when he started his business, they said, "Max, we know you. We went to school with you. You come over here. We want to help you start your business." So thank you to all of his Italian-American friends. And speaking of Italian-American heritage, I want you to all know that the Speaker of the House got an extraordinarily prestigious award this year. He was named Justinian of the Year. And for those who don't know what it is, it's about one of the highest awards that an Italian-American can receive. So Speaker Bob DeLeo, Justinian of the Year. I don't think I'm going to try to compete with Kathy Reinstein in the humor department. No way, no how am I going to try to compete with her. But if, on a serious note, if anybody looks you in the eye and says, "I'm not sure whether casinos are the right thing or not," just say one 4-letter word, and that's the word jobs, okay? That's all you have to say. Because when we build 3 destination casinos and the slot parlor here, we will have 15,000 people will be put to work. And if anybody here in this room doesn't know somebody, I want you to stand up if you don't know somebody who lost a job in the last 5 years. And nobody is going to get up, because we know how many people are out of work. We know how many people are in economic pain. We know how many people look in the mirror for 3 winters in a row and they haven't seen a paycheck. That's 15,000 men and women who will get jobs in the construction trades, in the service sector of our economy, and that's what this is all about. And that's what Dan Rizzo is all about. He's a small business owner who came into this job as mayor, and he said, "We're going to revitalize, we're going to create jobs, we're going to rebuild Broadway, we're going to bring small businesses back, we're going to make Revere one of the most hospitable communities in Massachusetts for small businesses," and that's what he's done over and over again, and I'm proud to have been his partner with our small business banking partnership every step of the way. But it wasn't just a promise. It wasn't just, "I'm going to create jobs." It was, we're going to rebuild with the help of the city council and with the help of the people of the city. We're going to rebuild the Della Russo Stadium, and that's going to happen right after the football stadium. $5.5 million being put to work for a new field, new bleachers, to rebuild that stadium the way it should be and the way it's going to be right after this year. And for those who think that jobs don't connect with education, education and jobs are the 2 most important things we got to think about every single day. And that's why about a month later we're going to break ground on the new McKinley Elementary School, and the Mass School Building Authority, which I chair, is happy to put to work almost $30 million so that McKinley Elementary School gets built, so that the young people, the elementary school kids here, have the best education they can possibly have. Because with that best education that they have and the jobs we're going to create, you cannot stop the city of Revere. There's no way, shape, or form. So I'm thrilled to be here. I am running for governor. I'm proud to have so many friends in this room. You were with me in 2010 when I got elected state treasurer. I look forward to working with you every step of the way. But this is a day of celebration. This is a day of celebration of culture, of our commitment to all the things that matter in life: faith, family, good food, friendship, jobs, education, and lifting up this city and making this city the best it's ever been. That's our job. That's what we're in business to do. That's what this breakfast and all of us are all here to do. Thank you so much for listening. Happy Columbus Day.
How about a nice round of applause for Steve Grossman, candidate for governor, my good friend. Something else you should know, Steve, he talked about education. We were one of just 11 communities across the state that was awarded a financial literacy grant that will ensure that at the end of 3 years, every student that graduates Revere High School will have taken a financial literacy course, which is going to help them for the rest of their lives as a practical matter, knowing what a checking account means, knowing what credit means, knowing what a mortgage is. And these are all things that they're going to take on for the rest of their life, and they couldn't do it without the help of our treasurer, Steve Grossman. So, Steve, thank you so much for that. Now, I do have to say, you talked about your grandfather, Max, and how he came from East Boston, and I couldn't help. I looked out at my father, and he said, I used to buy my football cards from him. I think I remember Max. I remember it. But there's nothing wrong with a football card. I'm not saying there is. I'm pro-gaming. Okay. That didn't go over too good with some. I saw the sheriff's getting ready to lock me up over here. I don't know. Or maybe he's getting ready to lock my father up. One or the other. Well, moving on, and speaking of the sheriff, Sheriff Tompkins took over as sheriff, about 2 years ago?
About 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago, and I've known Sheriff Tompkins for a long, long time. I believe, way back when he first went to work with Andrea Cabral, who, by the way, did a terrific job as our sheriff. And Steve had me on a couple of times. He had a show which he continues, Conversations with the Sheriff, I think that's what it's called, but
Not quite, but
okay, he'll straighten that out when he gets up here. But in any case, I think one of the things that Steve does best is he does a lot of outreach, and he wants to make sure that we here as citizens know what the sheriff department's all about. I can't tell you where we would be without the work crews that he provides this city to help keep our city clean. He's continued and has been a great partner in that. And that obviously is very important to me. I know it's very important to you. So without any further ado, I want to bring up again another good friend of the city of Revere, a good friend of mine, Sheriff Steve Tompkins.
Good morning. So when you mentioned 113 years ago and your family arrived here, that was about the same time that Kathy started her remarks. I want to thank Senator Petrocelli for yielding some time so that you could. Just teasing. Yes, the television show is called Common Ground. Common Ground. And Danny's been on. Danny's a great guy. We love Danny. So thank you for all the kind words. And thank you for the kind words about the outfitting. That was nice of you. So listen, when the young ladies came up to, the cheerleaders came up, that reminded me of the 12 candidates for mayor in Boston. They were all jumping around for the last, I don't know how long. It just seems like 113 years, right? About the same time you started running for governor. No, I'm only kidding. I'm sorry.
You want to repeat that?
No. My bad. Oh, you missed that? Did they miss that? They didn't miss that. Anyway, listen. I do have a huge announcement today. Huge announcement. I kid about the mayor's race in Boston, and what they did was they were all over us. All of the candidates were all over us. All of their operatives were all over us, and I was able to stay out. I didn't join any camp, hopefully not to my detriment, but I didn't join any camp. But today, I want to make a huge announcement that I am endorsing one of the speakers here this morning for governor. He runs a successful local family business. He's been active in Democratic political circles for decades and has recently been elected to one of the highest offices in the land. Hold this 1 second. I've got a problem.
Oh, not the only one with props this year.
So it is with great pleasure that I am endorsing Dan Rizzo for governor. And with the news, with the news of Hank Norton moving over to Attorney General, I think a Rizzo Grossman ticket. I actually kid Stevie a lot. I know we go way, way back. He's a dear friend, and I really love him. But listen, I'm sorry. Let's see, where were we? In all seriousness, this really is a great event, and I am glad to be a part of the return of the Columbus Day Parade to Revere. A good friend of mine, Lona Frangillo, I think she's out here somewhere. There she is. I love Lona. She is great, and I say that from the heart. She was a great friend to Cheryl. She's been a great friend to me. She talked us into coming down to play in the bocce ball tournament this past summer, where the Revere police promptly kicked our behinds. But to that end, I also want to recognize and say thank you to Chief Caffarelli and his guys for all that you did, sir. Everything that you and your guys did during the marathon event, we really do appreciate it. So just from law enforcement, I want to say thank you so very much. So in closing, if Christopher Columbus had landed on Revere Beach, I don't think he would have ever gone back to Spain. And all of his ancestors would now be living in the Jack Satter house. Okay. No, but honestly, I do want to say that I've had the opportunity to spend a lot of time in Revere lately, and this community is just so gracious and warm and welcoming, and I really do appreciate all of the friendships that I've made here and will continue to make as we go forward. And so thank you so very much for the opportunity to get here, and thank you folks for sharing some time.
Thank you, Sheriff. How about a nice round of applause for Sheriff Tompkins? Great guy. Sheriff, thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you acknowledging our police department because they do terrific work under the leadership of Chief Caffarelli. So thank you very much for acknowledging that. I appreciate it. Our next speaker is one of the candidates for Congress. He is, I have to admittedly say, I don't know him that well, but he is great for being here. And so let's all please welcome State Senator Will Brownsberger.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I want to congratulate you for having such a great event and for governing such a great city. I want to congratulate all of you for being part of such a great community. I've been spending a lot of time with the people over here on my left side for the last couple of months of my colleagues in the state Senate, two fine people. It's been an honor for me to be competing with them in this race for Congress, which is coming to an end on Tuesday. It's been an honor for me to be competing with my also colleague Sheriff Katujan, and of course Treasurer Grossman's been with us on the campaign trail just about everywhere as well. I haven't seen you as much, Sheriff. Good to see you this morning.
We can arrange something if you like.
All right. Over here on the left, it's wonderful to be with my esteemed colleague, Senator Petroselli. You can see he's the kind of guy that builds relationships in every direction, reaches out to a lot of people. Representative Reinstein, also one of those smiling faces in the State House, that you want to get to know her. And I wanted to get to know her even before I knew her first name. So for
3 years.
For 3 years, I've been calling her Karen. Karen Reinstein. But so then she kind of tried to get my attention by calling me Phil. Phil, it is Will. For those of you who are looking on the ballot, Tuesday it's Will Brownsberger. But she calls me Phil, I call her Karen, and now we do both know each other's names, and it's a privilege to be with here tonight. Mr. Speaker, you've been on the campaign trail with me, actually.
Yeah, I know.
I know. On the campaign trail, I'm the one in the race who does what's right when it's difficult. I stood up to the speaker.
I gave you that office.
You kind of did give me that office, but it was put me in one of those small windowless offices on the 5th floor behind a big pile of trash, for whatever it was that I'd done. But you know what? I know, Mr. Speaker, that it's tough running 160 cats like you have to do. It's tough herding cats. So a little discipline is part of what needs to be done. And I do know that you are someone who does something, wants to do the right thing, does the right thing in the long run. And so we actually worked our things out over the period of about a year of tussle and hustle. So it was great being with you. I want to thank you all for having me here this morning. I want to congratulate you on your celebration. Happy Columbus Day. God bless Revere. Thanks for having me.
Phil, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. No, Senator, all kidding aside, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. Our next speaker, I know many of you have met her. She's a terrific lady that I've come to know, and has been in Revere quite a bit. She's also a candidate for Congress. You may have seen her either on the streets of Revere or on television. But again, very, very competent lady that we're proud to have representing us in the state Senate, and possibly soon representing us in Congress. So please welcome State Senator Catherine Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is a pleasure to be here in Revere, and to all my colleagues and the candidates and to all of you. And I have been in Revere a lot, knocking on the doors, talking to people about jobs and the casinos and education and everything. But I ran into this man in Revere on the doors, and he said, "You got to stop talking about women's rights. That's all I hear from you, women's issues." I'm like, oh, I'm so surprised. You got Kathy Reinstein and everyone supporting these great women. I'm like, what happened? He's like, I'll tell you what happened. I was at Revere Beach. I was inspired by the mayor and this breakfast in Columbus Day. And I was thinking about my Italian heritage. And I said, God, I would love for you to build me a bridge from Revere to Italy. And then I could drive there, not walk, Mr. Speaker, drive to Italy. And the clouds opened over the beach, and God's voice boomed down and said, that is too much. It is a materialistic thing that is too hard to do. It's a lot of steel and concrete. It's a long way. So I need you to think of some other kind of wish, because you're a man of faith, and I appreciate that you came to me in a prayerful way. And the guy said, oh, well, if I have another chance, if I can't have the bridge to Italy, then I want the women in my life to understand that I am a caring man. And, they're always at me. And I want to please the women in my life. And God paused and said, would you like a 2-lane or a 4-lane bridge? So that's it. Thank you for having me. Happy Columbus Day. I hope it's a great parade, and God bless you all.
Great job, Senator. How about a nice round of applause again for State Senator Catherine Clark. Our next speaker, also a candidate for Congress, also somebody you may have seen around the city of Revere, also may have seen on television. He's a very, very good guy that I've come to know. And in addition, you may have seen his wife around. Sheriff, I think your wife has been here almost as much as you have. So, Elizabeth, great lady. And so without any further ado, I want to introduce candidate for Congress, Middlesex County Sheriff Peter Katusian.
Thank you, Mayor. And I do want to applaud you and Jane for your leadership, because putting together an event like this is never easy. Being up here, by the way, is never easy either, I got to be honest with you. But putting this event is never easy, but it speaks to the values and the tradition that you seek to hold on to here in Revere, and that's very powerful about your community and your commitment to your community, Mr. Mayor. I have been here today. I'm here today. I was here yesterday. I was here a few times this week. My wife and I, as you mentioned, Mr. Mayor, my wife has been here. We're spending more time in Revere than we are in our hometown of Waltham, and I'd like to introduce my wife, Elizabeth. If you could just stand and give everyone a wave. You've seen her. Revere has been a blessing to us because not only is it a community with a beautiful shore, it's a community with beautiful people. And I've got to be honest, when I came to Revere, I sought to have some major accomplishments, and I thought I did. I came here and I got the support of a great deal of the city council. I got a great deal of my friends on the school committee as well. I got the support of one of the most amazing women that I've known, Carol Ty, who was a strong leader at a time when women weren't leading in education. She led in education and has benefited this great community. A real hero. I got the support of a mayor that was so nice and yet still so respected, and a guy that's still beloved to this day, Tom Ambrosino, and that's something, right? You know, he's an amazing man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that about you, Mayor. That's not this mayor. That was not an endorsement by Mayor Rizzo, is it? I have the support of not only one of the most powerful people in politics, but one of the best people in politics, our Speaker, Bob DeLeo, as well. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Speaker. But all of that pales in comparison to the one thing that I really wanted and was finally able to achieve. After weeks of campaigning in Revere, I finally got a picture with John Correggio right there, folks. Maybe 50. Sometimes I just wanted a picture of myself with my wife on Revere Beach, and there's John right in there photobombing. We got a picture of my wife and John and I on our mantle in our room right now, in our living room. I also want to say, out of respect for Revere and Columbus Day, I am changing my name. My name will now be Catugio. Now, I want you to remember that. Now, it will be misspelled on the ballot that day, but I want you to vote for the tall Italian kid, Catugio, okay? But I want to say, I've been in your community. I've knocked your doors. My wife has knocked your doors. Our family has been involved. I've been at the Matola Post. I've been at the Women Empowerment event with Fatu. I know Fatu's here in Lona as well. I've been there at the football games when you were playing Winthrop and Malden. I've been there at the bocce tournament in Revere Beach. I've seen you at the fashion show the other night at Satter House, if any of you were there, where sadly I had to arrest Sheriff Tompkins for assaulting a woman in front of everybody. I don't know if you all saw that. Very sad day when one sheriff has to break protocol and actually handcuff another sheriff in front of a whole bunch of senior citizens. It wasn't a pretty moment, but I felt it was my responsibility, even if outside of my jurisdiction, people. I made a citizen's arrest in that case because I care so much about Revere. I want to say we've been to Kelly's. My family's been to Kelly's many times. Kathy Reinstein had mentioned a couple of times about this medical marijuana bill. You know, people are forgetting about the individuals that are suffering. Because if everyone eats their food, what are the seagulls going to do over there? The poor seagulls. Someone's got to fight for them. My family has been here, and we've been here for the Sandcastles. We were at the Immaculate Conception Festival. My daughter got to meet and dance with Dora, which was a very special moment. I've got a great picture with Dora. We've been at the Taste of Revere, where my wife and Christian went out meeting people. My daughter Isabel got to have her face painted, and my son Peter got to play soccer with a number of your children just at a pickup game right in that field, right? Nothing makes community like kids playing together, and especially a soccer game like that. That was very special. And we've opened up a district office right here in Revere. But let me just say, as a person that's a kid from Waltham, I feel very much welcome in here like a kid from Revere. Because your values, the Revere values, are very much the same as my values. And I believe that shows by the endorsements of Carol Ty, Tom Ambrosino, and Bob DeLeo. It's not just only about the big issues that we're speaking about in Congress that you read about in the Globe and the New York Times and see on CNN. It's about the small issues that are going to affect you and your families every day that can be even more devastating than those big issues you see in the news. I want to say that I've been here with you, Revere, and I will be there for you in Washington. My name is Peter Catugio, and I'm asking for your vote for the United States Congress. Happy Columbus Day, and go Boston Red Sox.
How about another nice round of applause for Peter Catugio?
Suggio.
You know, he said that just so we can get his name on Kathy's poster over here. That's all. Who here with a show of hands doesn't have a picture of John Correggio up on their mantle with them? Anybody? I know I do. John, you're there. So the sheriff did allude to the fact that he had to arrest. It was really a very sad time. Sheriff Tompkins, one sheriff arresting another. And it all happened, it unfolded at the Jack Satter House in a way that I never could have anticipated. That Jack Satter House has their annual fashion show, which is a wonderful event, and I love going to it each and every year. And then, somehow, anyone hear that song, It's Raining Men? And I thought at first it was the village people coming out, but it happened to be the two sheriffs. One had handcuffs, and the other had another prop. I'm not sure what it was still to this day, but they were, I don't know what they were, but anyway, it turned out to be the two sheriffs, and but we finally got the situation under control. So you guys are great sports, really. Thanks so much for being here. So, and the hits just keep coming. We have another candidate for Congress. She, again, is a wonderful woman. I've had the opportunity to meet her a couple of times. She also is serving us in the state Senate. We've seen her a lot around the city of Revere, and I just want to, I think I just want to say to all of them, and I've had the chance to meet all of them, I just want to wish you all well. You've all worked so hard for this seat, and you all deserve a great round of applause for the campaigns that you've run. So at this time, I'd like to welcome up State Senator Karen Spilka. Karen?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations to everybody. Happy Columbus Day. I'm State Senator Karen Spilka, and I also want to thank the mayor. Every time I've met with him and seen him, he's been involved in making Revere a better place to live, a better place to take your kids to school, to work, and to play. He's got a vision, unlike, I'd say, most of us, most of the administrators, most of the mayors across this state. He's done for Revere some wonderful redevelopment, brought some great jobs to Revere. Thank you so much to really have a vision. And this Columbus Day breakfast and the parade tomorrow is part of it, bringing it back, city pride. What can be better than that? My name is State Senator. I'm State Senator Karen Spilka, Majority Whip in the State Senate. I serve with Anthony. I've worked closely with Kathy, not Karen. I've worked with her on the Tech Caucus, plus on a lot of the pet bills. We're both animal lovers, and these things are important. And I serve with my colleagues to the left. My last name does end in a vowel. I do want to point that out. I don't have to change it. And I actually do have some Italian ancestry. My grandmother on my father's side. Partly Russian, partly Polish, partly Italian, and I'm proud of it. I am Majority Whip, so I am part of leadership, and I'm also proud of that. I grew up in a family where my father had major mental illness. My sister has Down syndrome. I've been her legal guardian for more than 20 years. And I have to say, growing up in that family, especially with my father, he died when I was 20 years old, it was really dysfunctional. I could tell you stories of dysfunction, but the one thing that he really taught me was how to function in dysfunction. And I have to say, when you think of Washington right now, what place is more dysfunctional than Washington, D.C.? But I also learned that sometimes families go through hard times, and you want to have your hopes and your dreams, to keep going, and you need to fight for it, and you need support, and you need help. And this is why I have become first a social worker, then a labor lawyer, then an arbitrator mediator, and I bring all of that to the state legislature. And I've had a track record of successes that has been known by the Daily News to be the most impressive out of all of this race. I've taken on the really tough issues. In fact, I realized today in hearing some of the others up here, I should have brought my boxing gloves. If you've gotten my mailings, you see I have my father's boxing gloves. He was an amateur boxer, and this was another lesson. When my sister and I used to fight, like sisters tend to do, he would give my older sister, who was bigger, the left boxing glove. He would give me the right boxing glove and say, "Go to it." And we did, to the point where, we would duke it out and sometimes work it out and sometimes not. But I learned tough lessons, and again, this is what has made me a fighter. I won't back down. I will fight for the tough issues. I have a track record of taking on issues that nobody else will and winning. And that's what we want, somebody to go down to Washington to win and to fight for the issues. I am very proud that I have not only the track record, but an endorsement of 35 labor unions of support, because they know I will fight for working families. And Local 22, that's here, is one of those labor organizations. Thank you so much. I have over 100 elected officials across the district. I've come to Revere. In fact, one of the reasons I decided to run for this, being from the western part of the district, I've always wanted some beachfront property. So that having Revere in this district has nailed it, and that's part of the reason I decided to run. I ask for your support. I ask you to stand with me on Tuesday, October 25th. I will always stand with you. Thank you very much. Happy Columbus Day.
Thank you, Karen. Another round of applause, please, for Karen Spilka. Thank you, Senator. We have one more candidate that wants to just say a few words to us. That would be a candidate for Congress, Paul John Mazzano. Paul?
Buongiorno a tutti. Io sono la vera italiano qui a Revere. Buongiorno a tutti. Io sono il vero italiano qui a Revere oggi. Il 15 di ottobre c'è una grande elezione. Io chiedo che se voi vai, il nome di Mazzano sta là per voi. What I'm saying for the benefit of Mr. Catugio and Karen Spilka with the boxing gloves, and Clark and my friend Will Brownsberger is. There's one Italian here tonight, besides these two gentlemen, three. I'm here to bid you a happy Columbus Day, and I'm also here to tell you that I am the only one that's not a politician running for this office. These are great people, very nice. I've got to know them over the past couple of months, and I enjoy every single one of them. But they're all the same. If you want somebody different, if you want somebody who's going to shoot straight to you and be real, then I'm your candidate on the 15th. If you want a politician, you got 6. Choose Catugio, choose Spilka, choose whoever you want. But you have one in me. E io posso dire che è la verità. Arrivederci e grazie.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I actually heard him give that same speech to the Polish American Club last week. So our next speaker is he is a candidate for governor and has served in the private sector for a number of years, and I'm sure he'll tell you a little bit about himself. He's a candidate for governor, Joseph Avalone.
Thank you so much, Mayor. First of all, congratulations on bringing back this wonderful event and also the parade. It's fantastic. It's great to be with you today. I am Italian, so my heart swells to be with you and see this great turnout. I'm sure you'll be relieved to know I'm not going to give a political speech today. I am running for governor. I've dropped enough lid on these tables that I'm sure you'll all fall asleep very easily tonight if you read it before you go to bed. But I actually wanted to just spend a couple of minutes talking about my other career, the career that actually didn't happen. And that was with the Celtics. That's right, the Boston Celtics. You see, when I was coming up in the system, and the system for me means junior high basketball. When I was coming up in junior high basketball, you know, there was a real hero, an Italian hero on the Celtics. It was Ernie Di Gregorio. I'm sure that many of you know him, Ernie D. And I thought I matched up pretty well with him. You know, he was short, I was short. He was slow, I was slow. He had good hands, and I have good hands. But the Celtics really didn't see it that way. I saw it could be Ernie D, then it could be Joey A, that could be the next thing. It didn't really work out, so I ended up going into surgery, because in surgery, good hands do count also, and you can also be short and slow. So surgery worked out pretty well for me, and the rest is history. I wasn't able to spend all that time on the parquet floor. I spent the first part of my career in a room with no windows with a mask on my face, but I was taking care of people. So I look forward to getting to know all of you in the future. It's going to be a long race. I'm running to bring new jobs with new ideas from my private sector experience. Thank you very much today.
Joe Avalone, everybody. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. And now, our last speaker is also a candidate for governor. And I just got to meet her today for the first time, actually, but she's here supporting our cause. So how about a nice round of applause for candidate for governor, Julia Kaye.
This does begin to feel a little bit like speed dating, so I'll be quick, since all of you probably want to put on sweatpants and go watch the game. My name is Juliette Kaye. Mayor, I want to thank you for this and for inviting all of us known and unknown candidates. The governor's race is far away, so I'm not going to waste too much of your time. But your service to the nation, we forget this about the mayor in the Navy, is something that should not be forgotten in these times, and so I want to thank you for that as well. So the last time I was in Revere, because unlike the candidates who we're going to vote on Tuesday, we still have some time. One of your hockey teams beat my son's Cambridge hockey team 16-1, showing that Revere does show no mercy, doesn't feel guilty about making 10-year-old boys cry in the corner. Love it. It didn't make them stronger. Not sure when, but it will. And shows that you all know how to keep pushing. And that is what is so amazing about this town. Just quickly about me, I come from the world of Homeland Security and public safety. I've worked for this governor overseeing the National Guard, emergency management, working with police departments and regional efforts to protect us and secure our communities, our cities, and our state. But as you all know, as I saw on the hockey rink, life is not just defense, it's also offense. It is about envisioning the Massachusetts for the future, building stronger in our schools, with our jobs, and our infrastructure. That is what I'm about. I have worked for this governor and then this president to oversee the building of a stronger and more secure country and state. That's what I'll bring to you over the course of the year. Until then, if you could stop at 10-1 next time you play Cambridge, we'll be very grateful. Thank you.
Juliette Kaye, everybody. One last round of applause. And how about collectively a round of applause for all of our speakers here today who did such a great job. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. So I just want to say, I know a lot of you, as been said, is anxious to get on with your day. I want to thank all of you for your support. Obviously, way too many to name individually. Obviously, way too many to name individually, but I think all of you know who you are. You've done a terrific job. I want to thank Revere TV, as always, for getting this out to our residents who couldn't be here. This is actually streaming live, by the way, so they're able to watch it as we're going on with our breakfast. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope all of you will take the time to join us at the parade tomorrow, which starts at 1 o'clock, starting at the Route 16 overpass on Broadway. It's a great family event, and people have worked very, very hard to bring this parade back. It's always been an enjoyable event for decades in this city. I'm so happy and proud we're able to bring it back. It's been a hallmark event here, as I say, for such a long, long time. And it's great to be part of these efforts. So before